Hey friends, if you're wondering why there's very little real estate for sale in Southwest Florida, there is a perfect storm of all sorts of things going on, and I'm going to break it down for you. Long before COVID and the pandemic happened, there were over 8,000 Americans turning 65 every day. That was the baby boomer population. These folks, whether they were retiring or just planning for their retirement, were really changing the face of the real estate market in Southwest Florida. Add to that a variety of other items that were occurring, and we have the perfect storm for evaporating inventory, huge demand, low inventory, and a real estate market that we have not seen down here in years. So we've followed a record few years of an expanding economy as well as low unemployment. So, the economy is doing great. Many folks are employed where they're living their best life. They start to move around. Their credits are being repaired. Even some of those folks from back in the last boom and bust year, they've had a chance to lick their wounds. Number one, get their confidence back up, but also repair their credit, replenish their savings, and move forward with purchasing a home where they thought they may have never purchased a home. We hit record low interest rates. Those interest rates so low that even folks with means and with the money to purchase cash are financing because money is so cheap to purchase right now. Add to that, we have a historic surge of two different types of buyers. We have both that baby boomer that's planning for their retirement, downsizing, maybe moving to a different location like Arizona or Florida, plus the millennial buyers who can often make up our first-time home buyer pool. Those two pools of buyers are both hitting the real estate market at the same time. Combined with that low interest rate that might be motivating them where they didn't think that they would be purchasing, it helped them really lean towards buying a home. Not only that, when the interest rates got so low, the buying power for some of these consumers expanded, where they might only be able to afford a $200,000, $300,000 home. With that low interest rate, it just allowed them that much more towards a principal payment. And they were able to increase the purchase price of their home or expand the size of their home. And that also spurred folks moving around. Yet another component to add to this is the fact that the developers really took off. They watched the numbers, the economy, and all the forecasts of what's going to happen, and they started building new construction where they hadn't really been cranking out that new construction for about 10 years. There's a variety of home builders in Southwest Florida who have perfected the business model of building homes and condominiums that are value priced somewhere around entry level price so that they are competing with resale property. It sort of makes it a no-brainer for a buyer to purchase new construction when they're looking at resale construction, and that resale property actually needs a tremendous amount of work. It might be updating the storm codes to make sure it has impact glass. It may have low elevation, and it might just need remodeled. So it made it an easy choice for buyers to just go into new construction. So new construction has sort of sold itself because the developers have structured it that way. So all of these things made the perfect storm so far. We're building on the perfect storm, and then we ended up in the 30-day lockdown due to COVID-19. So everybody stayed inside for 30 days. I made up my mind that, I'll probably get my business in order, work on websites, do all this busy work because we're not going to be going anywhere. And probably about 2 or 3 weeks into it, folks started buying real estate sight unseen. They started doing the visual tours and looking at floor plans, and we had a lot of conversations on the phone with buyers who may have picked a dozen homes to look at, but after we looked at floor plans, reviewed some of the disclosures, looked at aerials, and really talked about amenities in the property, we were able to narrow it down to 2 properties, maybe tops, go out and look at them, and then write a contract on one of them. So one of the other things that contributed during that lockdown was people realized they didn't like where they lived, or they just kind of had little things that they didn't care for start to really get on their nerves, and their lifestyle changed. Now consider that people started working remotely from home. if there was more than one person in the home, you had two people working in the home, two people trying to be on the telephone, two people trying to Zoom and do conferencing, and don't even add the component of homeschooling children. You know, our lives changed dramatically and we needed separate spaces. The great room floor plan is absolutely wonderful until you're in your home with your family and everybody needs a little bit of quiet time. So folks started looking around for homes with extra rooms and office doors that actually closed. And maybe that great room is great, but maybe instead of 3 bedrooms, we should try to get 4 or 5 bedrooms. And so it was like somebody rang a bell and the shopping market took off. One of the last components to add to this mixture is the fact that so many people who are in states up north that are locked down or remain closed got fed up with their location. Now, follow me on this one. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, any of the eastern seaboard New England states, Michigan, Illinois, and even Minnesota. Got a call from them, somebody from there today. You know, they are not open for business the way Florida has been open for business. So folks that had a second home here thought, well, you know, do we stay locked inside up in our northern state, or do we just move to Florida? So they made the commitment to come to Florida. Some folks were doing it for tax advantages. Some folks just decided, hey, if I'm working remotely, we may as well do it from our Florida address. So here's where that component really kicked it up a notch. Imagine this. Imagine there are 10 people with a second home that they're saving for retirement, and that home is in a rental pool. The moment they moved into that home, it took it out of the rental pool. So we've watched our rentals consistently over the last few years shrink, but they were really hacked into when folks started moving into their homes themselves or moving to Florida and filing for residency here. As soon as that happened, there were almost no rentals. And what that did was send a whole new set of buyers into our market who couldn't find a rental. And they thought, hey, if we were going to rent a place January, February, and March, and we were going to spend $15,000 or $20,000, maybe we should just put $15,000 or $20,000 into purchasing our own condo. So we've watched the bottom of the real estate sell off. So everybody was buying those affordable properties, whether it was a single family home or a condominium, and it has really driven the market upward and really evaporated that inventory. So if you are a seller wondering if this is the right time for you to sell, of course it is. However, you are in the catbird seat and you can carefully plan your marketing and the sale of your home so that you have the least amount of disruption with the least amount of showings, getting the maximum amount of money for your property with the least amount of contingencies. The world is your oyster. And if you have questions on how you can do this, give me a call. You can also text message me at the number below.